Today we're talking about something most men have never been taught properly: how to attract any woman, even if she isn't interested at first. Most guys see a woman they want, but if she shows the slightest bit of disinterest, no eye contact, closed body language, short responses, they instantly assume it's over. They walk away, defeated, as if that one moment defines everything. But that's not how women operate. Attraction doesn't always spark immediately. In fact, many times it needs to be triggered. Welcome back to the channel, where men learn how to stop hoping for luck and start building real results. Because when it comes to attraction, you're not powerless. You're not at the mercy of random chemistry. Attraction is not a lottery. It's a response you can create. Women are emotional creatures. They're not always aware of why they feel drawn to a man. Often, it's not his looks, money, or clever lines. It's how he carries himself, how he makes her feel, how he controls the energy between them. The reality is, most women are waiting for a man who knows how to lead the interaction. That's what this video is about. You're going to learn exactly how to approach a woman who might not seem interested, and flip the entire dynamic, calmly, confidently, and without chasing or begging for attention. This is a skill every man can learn, and once you do, you'll realize just how much power you actually have. 1. Attraction isn't her choice. One of the biggest myths men believe is that women sit down and logically choose who they're attracted to. That if you meet all her criteria, good job, nice guy, stable income, she'll automatically feel desire for you. But attraction doesn't work like a job interview. It's not a checklist. It's an emotional response that happens automatically, whether she wants it to or not. This is why you'll see women with men who don't fit their so-called type. She may say she wants a tall, rich, successful man, but end up chasing a guy who barely meets any of those standards, simply because he triggers something emotional inside her. Attraction happens on a subconscious level. It's driven by her instincts, not her logic. As a man, your power lies in understanding this difference. You're not trying to qualify for her approval. You're not trying to convince her you're good enough. Your job is to behave in ways that activate those emotional triggers. When you understand this, you stop chasing her approval and start focusing on your own behavior, confidence, and presence. For example, imagine you walk into a coffee shop and see a beautiful woman sitting alone. Most men would instantly think, "What can I say to make her like me?" That mindset puts you in a position of needing her acceptance. Instead, you walk over with calm confidence, sit near her, and simply say, "This place always has the worst music, but somehow it keeps pulling me back in." You're not complimenting her, you're not seeking validation, and you're not trying too hard. You're starting a light, playful interaction that makes her curious about you. She feels your calm energy, your lack of nervousness, and your ability to lead the moment, and that's what sparks attraction. The key is simple. Women don't sit there deciding to feel attraction. You trigger it by how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you manage the energy between you. Once you fully accept that attraction isn't her choice, you stop trying to earn it. And that's when women start responding to you completely differently. 2. Ignore her initial reaction. Most men ruin their chances with women simply because they take her first reaction way too seriously. She looks away, gives short answers, or even seems cold. And right there, most guys panic and assume she's not interested. They either walk away, overcompensate by trying harder, or worse, start convincing themselves they're not good enough. The truth is, a woman's initial reaction means almost nothing. Women often test men without even realizing it. Sometimes they do it on purpose, sometimes it's automatic. Either way, women use these early reactions to measure your confidence, your emotional control, and your ability to handle pressure. If you fall apart just because she wasn't instantly warm, she now knows exactly where you stand, and you lose your value in her eyes. Think about it like this. When you approach a woman, you're entering her world unexpectedly. She doesn't know who you are yet. She doesn't know how you're going to act, whether you're desperate, insecure, or confident. Her first reaction is rarely about whether she likes you. It's often her way of observing how you respond to her energy. That's why your job isn't to win her over instantly. Your job is to remain calm, centered, and unaffected by her behavior. When you stop reacting emotionally to her responses, you send a very powerful message. You're not seeking her approval, and you're not controlled by her mood. This alone makes you stand out. Most men crumble at the first sign of disinterest. The man who stays grounded is the one she starts to feel curious about. She starts wondering why you're not chasing, why you're not reacting like every other guy, and that curiosity begins to pull her toward you. You have to understand, women are emotional creatures, but they respect emotional strength in men. When you keep your cool, even when she seems distant or uninterested, you show her that you're not emotionally fragile. And that's attractive on a very deep level. So when you approach and she gives you cold energy, stay relaxed. When she gives short answers, keep talking lightly, but don't force anything. When she seems uninterested, don't chase, don't flinch, and don't assume anything. Attraction often starts when she sees that you're completely comfortable, no matter how she acts. That makes her curious, and curiosity is often the beginning of desire. 3. Make her feel unqualified. Most men spend their entire lives trying to prove they're good enough for women. They list their achievements, brag about their jobs, show off their cars or money, all in the hope that a woman will see them as worthy. But this dynamic is completely backwards. When you position yourself as the one trying to qualify for her, you automatically give her the upper hand. And once she feels superior, attraction starts to die. The reality is, women are far more attracted to men they feel slightly unqualified for. This doesn't mean you have to be rich, famous, or have some insane status. It's about how you carry yourself. When you hold yourself like a man who has options, who values himself highly, and who isn't easily impressed, women feel that they have to earn your attention, not the other way around. Think about how most men behave around beautiful women. The moment they meet an attractive woman, they become overly agreeable, laugh too hard at her jokes, and avoid challenging anything she says. Why? Because deep down, they feel like they're lucky just to be in her presence. That mindset kills any sense of mystery or challenge for her. Women don't desire what's handed to them easily. They desire what feels valuable, rare, and slightly out of reach. When you make her feel like she needs to qualify herself to you, the dynamic shifts completely. Now she starts thinking, does he like me? Am I his type? Am I interesting enough for him? And that internal questioning is exactly what builds attraction. This doesn't mean you need to be rude or arrogant. It simply means you remain unimpressed by surface-level things. If she mentions her looks, her job, or how many guys chase her, you don't react like you're blown away. You stay calm, grounded, and act like you've seen it all before. Because you have standards, and she hasn't met them yet. That subtle frame instantly separates you from every other man who throws himself at her feet. When a woman starts to feel slightly unqualified for you, she invests more effort. She wants to prove her worth. She starts chasing your approval instead of you chasing hers. And once she's emotionally invested, her attraction toward you grows stronger without you having to force anything. The man who reverses the qualification game is the man who naturally draws women in. You're not selling yourself. You're letting her discover that she wants to be chosen by you. 4. Control the tempo. When it comes to interacting with women, one of the biggest advantages a man can have is the ability to control the tempo. Most guys don't even realize how fast they move. They try to escalate too quickly. They reveal too much too soon, or they push for validation early. That's how they lose control of the interaction, before it even has a chance to develop naturally. Women are extremely sensitive to pacing. They pick up on how rushed or calm a man is from the very first moment. When you try to speed things up because you're eager for her attention, she feels it. And once she feels that you're in a hurry to win her over, she automatically starts pulling back. The reason is simple. Women feel safe and attracted to a man who's in control of himself and the situation. A man who doesn't rush gives off the impression that he's comfortable, experienced, and not desperate for an outcome. He allows the interaction to unfold at its own pace, which creates a sense of stability and mystery. When you control the tempo, you're sending a very clear message. I'm not in a rush to impress you. I know my value. We'll see where this goes. That calm energy makes her feel like she's dealing with a man who's been here before, who has options, and who doesn't need immediate validation. Now think about how most men behave. They compliment too soon, they ask for numbers quickly, or they try to lock down a date after a few minutes of small talk. This creates pressure. Women don't like to feel pressured because it takes away their ability to naturally develop interest. When you control the tempo, you give her space to build her own curiosity and desire. You also create an emotional space where she starts to invest. She wonders about you because you're not rushing to tell her everything. She starts asking more questions, trying to get your attention, and working to keep the interaction going. That's when you know the balance of power has shifted. The man who controls the tempo never seems too eager. He gives just enough to keep her engaged, but holds back enough to remain intriguing. He understands that attraction builds over time when there's space for tension and curiosity to grow. When you master the pace, you're no longer reacting to her. She's reacting to you. And that's when attraction naturally deepens without you having to push for it.